This is Live from the Backroom. I'm Remington Ricketts. Today's special guest is the Western Express. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hey, man.
Howdy.
Thanks for having us.
So we'll just jump right into it. For those who may not have heard of the Western Express, kind of tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you got here with us today.
It's all really because of this guy. Yeah.
I like to take all the credit.
Yeah.
I was searching on Craigslist after moving to Austin a few years ago, about 5 years ago now, looking for some good country music and listening to SoundCloud after SoundCloud of music that I swear they had never listened to country music before in their life. They must have been from Boston or Spokane, Washington, which I have a country scene down there too. But I found Steven's a few of the songs from our record on the SoundCloud, and wasn't but an hour later we were in the Continental Club having a beer, plotting how to get to the Continental Club.
Yeah.
And one bar at a time, one brewery at a time, one wedding at a time, one honky-tonk at a time, we're here.
Yeah.
And it feels good to be back in this part of the state.
Yeah. Yeah. Phil and I bonded over a trip to Lubbock. It was like kind of the first time we've like been playing music together for a couple months, but I don't think he trusted me just yet. He was
still don't.
Well, yeah, we came out and played a couple shows with a band that wasn't very, very good. And so about 6 months later, we started the Western Express. Yeah.
And y'all been together. 2018 is official start of Western Express.
Well, 2019 is kind of when the Western Express started. Phil and I. It took some time for Phil to trust me, so we had to go about a year before that happened.
So we've got Phil Brush, Stephen Castillo, and Saul Weiner. And Saul, kind of tell us about how you've made your integration into the Western Express.
Sure. So I've known Phil since we were kids, really. So going on 20 years. And we met in the Hill Country, in the Texas Hill Country, in a really musical environment at a summer camp that we both went to and worked at. So Echo Hill Ranch down there in Medina, Texas. And so we've been playing music together for a long time. So when I heard, in 2019 that sort of lineup that they were putting together, the Western Express. I mean, I always knew that they had, so much amazing talent, and that lineup really started to crystallize and form, and it was the best that I had ever heard those songs that Stephen played, the way that they did it, and so I was like, whatever it takes, I'm going to be hanging around these guys for as long as I can, so I do a little bit of everything, including when they let me picking a little guitar, so I'm just really happy to be along with them.
Perfect. Speaking of guitars, we've got two in the studio today, and then we've got a beautiful bass as well. Never had one this size. So kind of, Phil, if you would tell us.
Phil.
Yeah.
It's a big one. And then it's a big bass, and made by the Upton Bass Company here in the United States, and had a mediocre bass for a long time, and eventually Stephen looked at me and said, "Phil, it's time. The bass is holding us back." So I got this big guy, and it's a great pal. I play a lot of country music, a lot of bluegrass music on it, and when we get out on these kind of small show tours, it's kind of the perfect sound. Instead of just playing the electric bass, just add a little bit of that pop or something, and it's just a wonderful thing to have around. It takes up a heck of a lot of room, but
it does. It doesn't travel very easy.
It's about as big as me and Remington combined.
I was about to say, as soon as I met you, I was like, I've never had someone that I've looked eye to eye almost in the studio yet, so it's a change of pace, and the bass just speaks for itself as well. How long have you guys been playing instruments or being just kind of musical artists in general? How long have you guys kind of individually done something like that?
Oh, man. I mean, I've really just, music for me is always something I just kind of did. I had to do, I don't know. I was just, even from a really young age, I was singing George Strait songs, and I was in talent shows that I signed myself up for. My parents didn't do it, and it's like when if I was playing with some little kid's toy, as like an older kid, you play with some little kid's toy that you don't really play with anymore, but it's like I would figure out how to play some song on the little mini piano that was on it, or whatever. And I don't know. I just kind of always had to do it. And I think it was something that was just kind of in me, And as I got older, I had to kind of find my way into using it more as like a tool or like a job, or trying to use, because there's music and then there's the music business, and those two things can be very, very different things, you know. So, you know, really as an artist, I guess I've really only been writing songs, you know, probably 12 or 13 years, and really seriously only about 5 or 6, you know, something like that. Thank God for Phil, because he keeps the business running. That way I can just keep writing songs. It's perfect, you know. It gives me a lot of freedom.
It's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. All those booking agents out there, come on.
Come on, talk to us. Chris Rhodes, if you're listening.
Well, definitely appreciate you guys being here. We'll kind of transition here into our first song.
Sure.
We've been trying to promote Flower of the Rio Grande. See, I said it earlier too. Rio Grande. Kind of tell me about this song and what it means to you guys, and then kind of the backstory for it.
Sure. Well, I wrote it in 2020. I was in the beginning of a relationship with a woman from the Rio Grande Valley down in McAllen. And we were just kind of in that beginning phase, and I think it was like we had kind of gotten trapped together in quarantine a little bit, you know, and then we all kept thinking, this will be over in 2 weeks or a month or whatever, and she's like, I'm going to date, she was like, I'm going to date other people too, like right now I can't, but I'm going to. And I was persistent, you know, so I kind of wrote it in that sort of beginning phase when I was kind of chasing after her, and she was, you know, running the other way.
Well, we've got the Western Express here in studio today, and they are here to perform Flower of the Rio Grande.
Springtime down in Texas, when I first saw her bloom. She was too shy for the daylight, so I kissed her beneath the moon. When she invited me inside, I promised to be true. She said, boy, I love your loving, but I'll never belong to you. And I'd cross the valley and the river just to taste her sweet lips again, and feel her tight embrace for forever. Flower of the Rio Grande. We crashed into each other, burning both ends of the night. She said, you can't share my pillow, I'm sleeping alone tonight. And now the way her perfume calls me on a gentle midnight breeze, I'd run miles and miles to find her anywhere outside my dreams. And I'd cross the valley and the river just to taste her sweet lips again, and feel her tight embrace for forever. My flower, flower of the Rio Grande. Oh, when I cross the valley and the river, I taste her sweet lips again, and
and that is the Western Express Flower of the Rio Grande. Awesome song, guys. I absolutely love that. And like you said, the bass, it just adds something different to it when you hear it in person, and just the way everything comes together. Beautiful song. Awesome job.
Thanks.
I absolutely love that. Glad to have that here on the station. So kind of we'll transition now into a little bit more about you guys as individuals. I kind of like to throw this curveball question out there. If you could see any one live performance from a band, either dead or alive, who would that kind of be, and why?
I think I have this one, actually. I've been thinking about this on the
Have you?
Go for it, Saul.
I would, more than anything, I would love to see a full lineup of Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys when they used to play the big dance halls with like a 15-piece jazz swing band. I just think everything about that would be so amazing. Hearing a big band like that, hearing that kind of level of musical improvisation and genius all in one place, and then seeing how many like hundreds of people used to come out to those big dances, especially up here in this area, in Big Spring, Lubbock, Abilene. This was big for it. So maybe this trip had gotten me thinking about that too, but man, I would just love to be even just a fly on the wall for an old dance like that with a swing band like Bob Wills.
Yeah. That'd be freaking cool.
That one time Willie hired him to come to Abbott, go to that show.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, or Hillsboro or wherever it was. Yeah. That's cool.
Really
That would have been a cool one to see.
And so we kind of also got, I've kind of read into your bios a little bit. If you weren't doing music, I saw, Phil, you would be doing outdoors, kind of a wilderness survival guide, and then Stephen, you would be doing golf. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you guys
Good research.
Do you guys do much of that outside of music? Are you kind of locked up in music 24/7 right now, and just not finding time for that kind of stuff? Or
I don't know. I think Phil and I will probably always find time for the things we really love to do. They're both. I mean, I guess for me, it's more of golf is more of a hobby, I think, than for Phil. The wilderness stuff or like just being outside. That's more like keeping him alive.
We were both professionals. I mean, you were a golf pro. I was a pro wilderness guy. Just kind of keep. Theoretically,
I'm a retired golf pro. Now I'm just the worst in my group now.
Yeah.
I don't.
I feel that.
Theoretically, we become very successful.
Yeah.
Before the concert that night, you go play golf. I go take a hike in some
perfect.
Beautiful forest of whatever great land we're in. And we'll be
That's perfect.
kicking butt all over this world.
Yeah.
Pretty nice.
Maybe one day I can play with Willie.
That's right. Maybe at least Vince Gill.
Maybe Vince.
So we've also got You, Me, and the Neon.
Yeah.
This song, kind of tell me a little bit about this one and the backstory for this one.
Okay. Well, I mean, when I first kind of was writing a bunch of country songs back in 2018, I had started hanging out at the honky tonks quite a bit. I had gotten out of a long relationship about a year before that, and just was kind of looking for new social scenes. And the honky tonk scene in Austin is pretty remarkable, really. It's an old school scene, It's not modern country sounds, and it's not like a club setting. It really is like a true kind of traditional honky tonk scene where people dance old school two-step and swing to old country shuffles, and and the songs that get played at places like the White Horse are all old. I mean, you'll hear Merle Haggard and Hank Williams long before you'll hear Vince Gill. I mean, not even Vince Gill, but you'll hear that, but you won't hear like newer stuff, like anything in the 2000s really. It's just kind of older style. And I remember I just was like, man, I would love to write music like this. I would love to write something that sounds like what I heard growing up, in the 80s, listening to country music the most. And in the midst of all that too, learning I learned how to talk to girls again after 12 years in a relationship. I didn't know how to talk to women, and I had to learn how to dance. And I was learning new country songs I'd never heard before. And that kind of stuff. And so this song kind of came out of just a lot of that. The experiences of being in the honky tonk and trying to find romance again for the first time in a long time, and listening to great new music and learning how to dance, and just kind of all that it means to just honky tonk. So, so this song came out of that. It's called You and Me and the Neon.
Now, Now he got us all honky tonk.
I got them all. This guy had never seen a honky tonk before he met me at the Continental Club.
Seen it from afar.
He'd never seen the inside of one. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Looking for love in the same old place. I found nothing but the same old faces. But since you walked in, you've been on my mind. And you're the only one I can see tonight. So kiss me on the lips with a mouth full of sin. Look me in the eye and take me for a spin on a sawdust floor with a haggard song. It's just you and me and the neon. You and me and the neon. Wanna know your voice and who you are. You can take my arm and steal my heart. Pull me closer, darling, and feel us breathe. Girl, the way we move, it makes me weak. So kiss me on the lips with a mouth full of sin. Look me in the eye and take me for a spin on a sawdust floor with a haggard song. It's just you and me and the neon. You and me and the neon. Come on and burn 'em up now. Share this shot. We'll drink to us and the love we've got. Stay next to me, don't you run away. 'Cause we've got tonight and the dawn can't wait. So kiss me on the lips with a mouth full of sin. Look me in the eye and take me for a spin on a sawdust floor with a haggard song. It's just you and me and the neon. You and me and the neon. It's you and me and the neon. Girl, it's you and me and the neon.
And that is the Western Express, You, Me, and the Neon. Guys, thank you so much. If we want to check you out, because I know I'm going to have listeners who want to check you out after this, where can we find you guys and stay up to date with you?
We are easy to find. A Google search for the Western Express Band will find us. We have social media everywhere you're supposed to have it, and we are on every streaming platform that you can imagine. Our calendar's on our website. You know, our shows have been a little thin over the summer, just kind of by design, but we're picking up in the fall. This area is really important for us. It's a big target for us over the next 6 to 8 months, especially trying to get back out here as many times as we can. trying to build an audience in the, kind of this area of the world that we just haven't had a chance to visit yet, so.
Well, we definitely would love having you come back and visit us sometime, and I know that you're going to be a hit around here. You guys, you've got that sound, you've got that look, and so I'm excited to see what you guys have in the future. Would like to thank the Western Express for coming in today, Phil Brush, Stephen Castillo, and Saul Weiner. Guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks, Remington.
Good to be here.
This is Live from the Backroom, and I'm Remington Ricketts.